I can't help wondering what a normal person does do now to be normal, quite frankly, because it seems to me that in the age of identity politics, we're so atomised and so intent on finding ourselves from within that there is no normal and there's not much happiness either.
Well, I think it depends where you are. If you spend your time entirely on the internet, which I'm completely, which obviously you don't, and I almost don't. I spend far too much time on the internet, and if you spend far too much time on the internet, you'd be forgiven for thinking that, yes, that there is no normal anymore. But actually, I mean, I live in small town Britain, and there very much is a normal. Most normal people are still pretty normal. People walk their dogs and go to the pub and do normal jobs and have normal opinions. I find it, and I love it here because of that. I'm not surrounded by people who are ostentatiously trying to flout or subvert the status quo all the time. People just getting on with life. But if you spend all your time on the internet, you'd absolutely get the impression that there is no such thing as normal anymore. And I think in some contexts it's kind of true. I mean, in terms of public policy terms, there's a very strong sort of political policy pressure against the idea that the state should put its weight behind any particular form of normal. I mean, I don't know how true that is in Australia, but it's certainly true in the United Kingdom. I mean, the Conservative MP Danny Kruger and the MP Miriam Cates have come under a lot of fire relatively recently. For Danny said something, he made a defence of the normative family, which is to say married heterosexual couples, intact families raising children, and was absolutely roasted to high heaven, including by his own side. Matt Hancock said that to state that even that such family was even normal constituted, was a completely fringe view in his party, despite the fact that, I mean, if you were to throw a wet haddock into a group of dog walkers local to where I live in small town Britain, they would absolutely tell you that a married, intact, heterosexual couple raising children is the normative family. That's just what it is. And the fact that there are a great many single parents who do a superb job in sometimes challenging circumstances doesn't make that any less true. But the point that there's a kind of official, if you like, an elite consensus against the idea that there is such a thing as normal, and there's a policy consensus against the belief that normal exists. And I would even go as far as to say that in some more avant-gardist or progressive quarters, there's an active effort, this sort of active ideological effort to undermine the idea that there is such a thing as a normal, which goes all the way down even to biological levels. Sort of technological war on normal human reproduction, for example, and the technological war on normal in a whole host of other fields besides. I mean, biotech is a whole. I mean, I don't want to go down the biotech rabbit hole. But I can't think of a more literal war on the idea of biological norms than setting out to edit them at the genetic level. So yeah, I mean, it depends who you ask, I think is the long answer to your question. Is there such a thing as normal anymore? It depends. If you ask your average dog walker in small town England, they will absolutely say there is. If you ask somebody in front of a camera who's a member of parliament, they will probably try and fudge the question because they'll get absolutely burned at the stake if they try and make any statement that suggests that there is.